What happens when a seemingly invisible cleaning lady steps into the boardroom and challenges the arrogance of a powerful CEO? You won't believe how one woman's courage upturned an entire company and fired the CEO right where he stood. In the towering headquarters of Apex Innovations, Maurice Parker reigned supreme as CEO, a man cloaked in arrogance and privilege. The glimmering skyscraper represented all he had built, an empire fueled by technology and innovation. Yet, nestled within the impersonal charm of corporate life, the lush carpets and glass walls held a different story, one of hard work and determination, where Clara Wells, the cleaning lady, maneuvered through the halls every night, cleaning up after the chaotic world of wealth and power. Maurice had long since lost sight of the legions of people who formed the backbone of his company, the unsung heroes who toiled away in silence, ensuring that the lights remained on and the offices gleamed. After a particularly stressful day, he would often leave his evening meetings with a dismissive wave to the cleaning staff and a condescending chuckle. "Make sure you get those corners," he would mock as if they were less than human. The other board members would laugh, reinforcing the idea that those who cleaned and maintained the company were invisible, easily dismissed, and unworthy of attention. Clara, a single mother juggling multiple jobs to make ends meet, had grown accustomed to the ridicule, but she harbored dreams and ambitions that stretched far beyond her cleaning cart. While scrubbing floors in silence, she often overheard the board members discussing strategies, making decisions that could impact the lives of thousands, including employees like her. The arrogance of leaders like Maurice fueled her desire to prove that even the quietest voices could matter. As she polished the conference room table each night, Clara couldn't help but recall her aspirations during her college years. She had been a dedicated student, driven by a passion for business and a desire to uplift her community. But life had taken unexpected turns, and now she found herself navigating a reality that often dismissed her capabilities based solely on her position. Each time she encountered the board's discussions on cutting costs or downsizing, emotions swelled within her. One fateful evening, Clara overheard a particularly heated discussion during a board meeting. "Let's cut costs, starting with the cleaning services," Maurice snapped, his tone accusatory. "We can hire cheaper labor and save a few bucks. Who cares about the morale of those beneath us, right? They're replaceable." His words were a dagger to Clara's chest. Those expendables were people, mothers, fathers, individuals striving for a better life, just like her. Clara spent that night reflecting on her circumstances, wanting more than anything to reclaim her voice and challenge the status quo. Driven by a mix of anger and determination, Clara devised a bold plan. After days of gathering data from her fellow employees, she compiled statistics that illustrated the dire consequences of cutting cleaning services. She cataloged how morale waned in workplaces, where cleanliness and hygiene were overlooked, places that became breeding grounds for illness and low motivation. With each detail she gathered, her resolve grew stronger. As the board meeting day approached, Clara worked tirelessly to polish her presentation. She believed that the words she prepared could create a ripple effect throughout the company. She wanted the board members to recognize the value of every worker and the impact of their decisions. On the day of the next board meeting, her heart raced with anticipation. Armed with her folder of carefully curated materials, she took a deep breath and strode purposefully to the executive floor, pulling open the door to the boardroom. The chatter ceased instantly, and all eyes turned to her. "What is the cleaning lady doing here?" Maurice sneered, the contempt in his voice echoing off the polished walls. Clara straightened her back, taking a deep breath to steady her nerves. "I'm here to talk about the future of Apex Innovations," she declared firmly. "And I have something important to say." Laughter erupted among the executives, but Clara didn't flinch. Instead, she pressed on, holding their gaze. "I know that you see me as just a cleaner, someone who doesn't belong in this room. But what you fail to realize is that I understand the business from a perspective you've overlooked. I'm here to tell you that your decisions impact real lives." With that, Clara began her presentation, projecting the data she had collected. "You think you can make decisions without considering the impact on the people who make this company run?" she challenged boldly, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. Maurice's brows knitted together in annoyance. "What do you know about running a business? He shot back, ready to dismiss her entirely. "Perhaps more than you think," Clara replied resolutely. "Your decisions affect those of us who work in the shadows, and if you decide to cut costs by getting rid of essential services like mine, you will pay the price. We are not replaceable parts, and when you devalue us, you devalue the entire organization." The board members shifted in their seats, their reactions ranging from surprise to intrigue. Clara pressed on, bolstered by their bewildered expressions. "Consider this. A clean, well-maintained environment fosters productivity, motivation, and ultimately, profit. When employees feel valued, they give their best effort. Conversely, cutting corners can lead to dissatisfaction and disengagement." Murmurs rippled through the boardroom as Clara's words painted a vivid picture of what could happen if complacency prevailed. Maurice attempted to regain control, but he found his attempts met with resistance as other board members began to nod in agreement. Clara continued, advancing her argument with passion. "The morale of your employees directly impacts their performance. If you cut services, the message is clear. You don't care about us. You are willing to sacrifice our well-being for short-term savings." Maurice, cornered and growing visibly agitated, attempted to wave her off. "You're just a cleaning lady. You don't understand the complexities of running this business," he said defiantly. A younger board member named Sarah boldly interjected, "Actually, Clara is speaking truthfully. I think we need to reconsider how we value our workforce. It's not just about the bottom line. It's about creating a culture that supports everyone." The dynamics in the room shifted as support for Clara grew stronger. Maurice stared at the dissent, realizing that he might be losing control of the board. A sense of desperation crept in, and Clara seized the opportunity. "It is time for a change," she urged, meeting Maurice's gaze. "This company needs a leader who values every employee, not just those who sit at the table, but those who keep the lights on and the floors clean. If you choose to ignore us, you risk losing the very foundation of this empire." The intensity in the room was palpable, and for the first time, Clara felt a sense of purpose flooding her senses. Maurice's arrogance began to shake, uncertainty creeping into his responses. "You can't fire me," he blurted out, desperation rising in his voice. "I built this company." "You might have built it, but you are forgetting the very people who helped you along the way," Clara pressed, feeling emboldened. "Real leadership requires humility. It's about listening to the people who support your vision and realizing that their contributions matter. This isn't just about you, it's about all of us." Maurice's face reddened as he grappled with the realization that Clara and the younger members of the board were banding together. The room buzzed with energy. Clara had moved from the sidelines to center stage. For years, she had been overlooked, but today she was stepping into her power. Finally, in an unexpected turn, Maurice appeared, to relent, his bravado wavering. "Fine, let's see what the employees think, but I know they'll support my decisions." Clara smiled, sensing victory on the horizon. "I have no doubt they will want to share their thoughts. Let them speak. They deserve that right." The room erupted in applause as Clara's colleagues, encouraged by her determination, began to voice their gratitude and support for her stance. Staff members stood up and shared their own experiences, revealing stories that underscored the effects of Maurice's leadership style on their lives. Weeks rolled by, and Clara worked tirelessly with various staff members, gathering data, drafting proposals, and forming a coalition to push for employee rights. The more they collaborated, the stronger their sense of unity became. Clara's determination resonated deeply across the company. She had lit a fire within the workforce, igniting change from the bottom up. Maurice, still clinging to his position, faced constant scrutiny. He found it increasingly challenging to uphold the same authority he once embraced. Staff members openly challenged his decisions during meetings, and negative morale began to bubble to the surface. Clara's once quiet confidence transformed into a rallying cry for the entire workforce. Then came a pivotal board meeting that would change the course of Apex Innovations forever. A tense atmosphere enveloped the room as employees filled the back. Clara prepared to present once again, her heart racing in anticipation of the impact it would hold. She steeled herself for what lay ahead. Today, I urge you all to consider the implications of your decisions, Clara began, her voice unwavering. It's been clear that the culture here has suffered from a lack of understanding and respect. It's not just about numbers, it's about investing in the people that make this company thrive. As the board listened intently, Clara outlined a comprehensive plan that included employee engagement initiatives, support systems, and a more inclusive decision-making process that encouraged staff input at all levels. The company needed a paradigm shift, a commitment to valuing every part of the organization. Maurice sat silent, the weight of Clara's proposals hanging in the air. The unity among the employees was inspiring, with cheers erupting from the back of the room as they celebrated the new possibilities that awaited them. It was a reflection of manageable leadership rather than a flip of a coin. Finally, someone from the back shouted, "Maurice, if you can't lead with respect, maybe it's time to step aside." The atmosphere shifted dramatically as the demand echoed in the chamber. Maurice looked around at the faces of those he had long deemed expendable. Recognition dawned on him he was no longer untouchable, but rather a man facing the choices he had made. The tension reached its peak as board members rallied behind Clara, calling for a vote of no confidence in Maurice's leadership. The room buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Maurice sat stunned, the tides of power shifting beneath him. In that crucial moment, the board voted, and as results poured in, Clara felt a mix of anxiety and hope. To her astonishment, the votes heavily favored change. Clara took a deep breath, the exhilaration of victory surging through her veins, and turned to Maurice, whose expression had transformed from arrogance to disbelief. "Congratulations, Clara. It appears you've won," he said quietly, his bravado lost. "But what will you do now?" Clara smiled confidently. "Now we begin anew. Apex Innovations has the potential to set a new standard for companies everywhere. Leadership should embody respect and trust, not just authority." As Clara stepped into her newfound influence, she was determined to create a workplace filled with empathy and collaboration. The next chapter heralded a new beginning, and Clara worked alongside her fellow employees to implement the changes they desired. No longer merely the cleaning lady, Clara became an integral part of shaping the company's culture. She organized workshops that focused on team building and communication, where every employee had a voice, fostering a sense of community, belonging, and empowerment. The success of these initiatives echoed through the halls of Apex Innovations. Productivity soared, and employee satisfaction reached heights previously considered unattainable. Clara's journey from the shadows into the forefront of leadership became an inspiration within the company and beyond. Maurice, now stripped of his title, received the wake-up call he desperately needed. He realized the power of respect and accountability, sitting quietly in the back as Clara led the way, inviting him to reflect on his past mistakes. As time passed, Clara flourished within the company, championing the cause of employee engagement and representing their interests at every level. Her story spread like wildfire, igniting a movement across industries, where companies began re-evaluating their own leadership models. Clara eventually became an advocate for workplace reform, delivering speeches across the country to share her story of transformation. She reached out to others who faced systemic challenges, empowering countless individuals to find their voices and demand respect in workplaces that had long overlooked them. Her influence burgeoned as she collaborated with various organizations dedicated to employee advocacy, uplifting marginalized workers, and promulgating the idea that everyone deserves a seat at the table. Back at Apex Innovations, the ripple effect of Clara's courage fostered a new culture of leadership that prioritized compassion and inclusivity, forever reshaping the company's values and practices. Generation after generation, her legacy endured. Employees were no longer just numbers on spreadsheets. They were valued individuals whose ideas and contributions mattered. In time, Clara Wells became a household name within corporate circles, inspiring a new generation of leaders who believed in and practiced the principles she had unveiled. The idea of valuing every employee, not just those in executive suites, became the cornerstone of success. Clara's journey had transformed her from an unnoticed cleaner to a powerful leader, someone who shaped a multitude of lives, all stemming from that bold moment in the boardroom when she stepped out of the shadows and made her voice heard. And so, the once invisible cleaning lady became a powerful force in ensuring that Apex Innovations remained a company built on respect, integrity, and the unwavering belief that every individual mattered, paving the way for future generations to rise with the same courage and resilience she had displayed.